All right, good evening. Welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting of October 7th, 2024. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast by local access programming and with remote participation available as provided on our agenda. Is there anyone here who is recording the meeting? Seeing none, I'll continue. I hereby call the meeting to order at 6:33. Like to have a roll call of the members in attendance, please.
Jim Foran.
Kate Thompson.
Mike Greco.
And Mark Mungem. Excused from tonight's meeting are Brendan and Josiah. First item on the agenda are the meeting minutes from June 3rd, 2024. Mike, were you able to take a look at the meeting minutes by chance?
No.
Matt, did you look at them?
I'm almost done with them.
Okay.
If you want, we can table it, take it up at the end.
Yeah, you can wait on that. So we're going to push back the meeting minutes till later in the meeting when we have a chance. Moving into new business. I would like to have Jim make a
Motion to waive the public hearing for the reading of the public hearing for Town of Douglas Water Sewer 59 Depot Street and Depot Street Row Water Main Improvements Map 169 Lot 54.
motion has been made to waive the reading of the public hearing notice. All those in favor?
Need a second?
Oh, I need a second on that. I'm sorry. Does anyone want to second the waiving of the public notice?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Jim and seconded by Mike. All those in favor of waiving the reading?
Jim Foran, aye.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye. Okay, the public hearing is now open. Is there someone here to represent the project?
How you doing?
Good
Hello.
afternoon, members of the commission. This is Michelle Simoneau from Stantec, representing the Douglas Water and Sewer Department. I know I have with me on the phone David Glenn, who is the stormwater engineer on the project, and I am the lead wetland scientist and permitting specialist on the project. I can't see the audience, but I believe that either Bob Sullivan or Bob Minerick is possibly in the audience or on the phone.
I am. I'm here.
State your name and address.
Bob Sullivan, the Systems Manager, Town of Douglas Water Sewer Department.
Thank you.
Great. And we are presenting the Town of Douglas Depot Street project. And if I could just dive in and share my screen here.
Sure.
Sending a request.
All set.
You're all set.
And just, well, thank you. While I wait for that to go through, just to mention, we did submit the affidavit of service and a butter notification and proof of mailing to Mass DEP to Jen earlier today.
Did we get a DEP number for this project as of yet?
We have not, unfortunately. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the project at hand is on behalf of the Douglas Water and Sewer Commission, and it involves a road project and water main replacement project on Depot Street that extends from Main Street down to the Southern New England Trunkline Trail. And let's see if you can see my screen here. Got a site locus up for you. Now, I'm going to go into a few more details in a minute, but we're presenting this notice of intent for two purposes. One is to provide you with notification of an exemption for the 4,300 linear feet of water main replacement on Depot Street, and the other part is the notice of intent filing for a number of different activities that include repair of the collapsed portion of a stone retaining wall, replacement of the top cracked stone culvert slab, replacement of a guardrail, installation of a catch space, and removal of some trees, primarily here in this location in front of 59 Depot Street. So now that I've got you oriented, Stantec did delineate all of the jurisdictional wetlands along this entire roadway. We've got bordering vegetated wetland, we have some intermittent streams, and primarily we have Southwick Brook that runs through this property here at 59 Depot Street. So the main subject of the filing, I did want to go over the project as a whole, just to, for the record and to let you know what the whole project is. So it's the installation of approximately 43 linear feet of 12-inch ductile iron water main installed within the paved right-of-way of Depot Street. And as I said, it would run from Main Street to just north of the Southern New England Trunkline Trail. The entire existing water main will be removed and replaced. Skipping over to some project plans. These are our notice of intent project plans that we presented to you. Without going into all the details of the exempt work, unless you have any specific questions about that, I'll kind of dive into the subject of the notice of intent, which is this work here around 59 Depot Street. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. So here we have the roadway. Here is the river. The various regulatory zones are here on the plan, the 50-foot and 100-foot buffer zones to bank. We've got the 100-foot riparian zone and the 200-foot riverfront area from the mean annual high water line. And as we said, the majority of the work for the project will be in the roadway and therefore exempt. But there are a number of activities right around this location that we're going to be doing. That's the subject of this notice of intent.
Could you just tell us what plan sheet you're looking at? I'm sorry, could you just reference the plan sheet that you're looking at?
Yes, that is, give you the number here. C102.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, and then, yeah, so the majority of the work is right around here, around this stone wall, or head wall, excuse me, and then I want to show you some photos. So here we are on Depot Street. The bulk of the work is going to be here at 59 Depot Street. This guardrail is right above the stone wall that I described earlier. That's going to be replaced, and I'll show you why in a minute. But when the project is done and this stone wall is, the head wall is replaced, we're going to be doing a guardrail up here and some stormwater management improvements. That includes a catch basin installed right over here in the front of 59 Depot Street. With a 5x5 riprap area going down towards the river, which is in the riparian zone. Just to show you why. This wall, this stone wall, the head wall to the culvert, is in disrepair and needs to be repaired. So that's what's driving the work near the brook. It coupled with the need for some stormwater management improvement. And I'll let my colleague Dave Glenn go into a little bit more detail about that later. But I just want to walk you through some of the plans and what we're planning to do on the stone wall here. Oh, here's just another shot for you of the road, the guardrail that will be replaced, the top of the stone wall. And then I just want to page back to the plans here to show you some zoomed in details. I'm going to sheet, I believe this is 506.
So you said the wall, the entire wall is going to be replaced and not just repaired?
No, it's going to
No.
be repaired.
Just the damaged section.
Just the damaged section
The
repaired?
rest of the wall's in good shape.
Okay. Thank you.
Who might you be, sir?
What's that?
State your name and address.
Bob and Eric. Bob and Eric, Economic Development.
Thanks.
Snuck in.
So just to, sorry, should I continue? I can't hear.
Yes, continue.
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, I appreciate that. So yeah, just to show a detail here of the stone masonry wall, what they're gonna do is take the courses down to the top slab, repairing this wall because the picture I just showed you, it's in disrepair. Part of it is collapsed, so they'll repair it and reuse the existing blocks down below the wall towards the river. So they'll just reuse those existing blocks and rebuild it. As I mentioned, there'll be some stormwater management improvements, and they will go into that in more detail, but there'll be some leapholes that are placed along the wall, in the wall, to alleviate the stormwater. Then just looking at, so if you can see this detail here, here's the stone wall itself. The idea is to support the project from the roadway, if at all possible. If that's not possible to do from the contractor's perspective, we did build in some kind of a backup plan to potentially work with scaffolding across the river if need be, and to plan for that contingency. And we've got a detail of that here on this last page, conceptual shielding work platform in detail in the event that the contractor has to get into the river and support the project from there. But otherwise, the hope is to do it from the roadway. The trees that have to be cut, I mentioned in the beginning, and that's part of what's driving the riverfront area alteration, is that in order to do this work, there are a number of trees, mostly red maple, and we do have them detailed on the plans here as to which tree, which species, with the DEHs that have to come down in order to make room for the contractor to do this work. And those are in the inner riparian zone.
Are those below the retaining wall or on the top? Are those trees below the retaining wall or on the top?
They are a combination. Most of them are on top of the retaining wall. Let me switch back over to the photo. And some of them are in, I'm sorry, in back. Some of these are in back.
There were 4 on top, 2 on the bottom.
Mostly red maples. And then unless there are any other questions on that portion, I'll turn it over to Dave Glenn to describe the stormwater management improvements.
Good evening, everyone. Dave Glenn from Stantec.
I prepared the actual stormwater report for the project, and I'll go into a little bit detail on the actual stormwater improvements that are being proposed. I guess, Michelle, if you want to keep that graphic up, that's probably the best graphic to show that shows the actual storm drainage improvements for the project. As Michelle had said, the improvement is installing a deep sump footed catch basin along the gutter line adjacent to the 59 Depot Street and the stone retaining wall. The catch basin will again provide some control of stormwater runoff in the area. Currently, the roadway in that area has no curb at all, and the water is sheet flowing off the actually curbless gutter and causing some erosion that's going towards the actual wetland system itself. So the intent was to provide a catch basin in that area along with a berm to direct the water into the catch basin and then to outlet it through the pipe into a riprap apron at the toe of the slope. Again, that will, in addition to providing some water quality treatment, will also control erosion, which is currently contributing at that area now, adjacent to house number 59. That is really the extent of the stormwater improvements for the corridor. I mean, in general, the corridor itself, it's a combination of a closed system coming off of Main Street for about 1,500 feet. And the remaining corridor is actually a system where a roadway system that has no curbing. It's pretty much country drainage type system. The project itself will not change the actual cross section at all of the roadway system. So areas there that are currently no curb or do have curb are going to be remaining the same as part of the project. There'll be no increase in pavement width within the corridor itself. The existing roadway cross-section will stay the same, so there's no increase in impervious area. Again, drainage patterns will basically remain the same. So the major, again, the stormwater improvement is to prevent the erosion that's currently taking place in the vicinity of the stone retaining wall and provide a deep supported catch basin at that location. That's a general overview of the stormwater. I'd be happy to answer any specific questions the board may have, the commission may have.
Are there any drainage pipes that go into this new catch basin?
No. No, it's just a single catch basin, because currently this whole area of the roadway is no curb at all. So we're looking to actually put in a little bit of a big berm along the back side of the catch basin, again, to intercept flow from the roadway so it goes into the catch basin, as opposed to now it's basically coming off the edge of pavement and causing erosion on the slope that goes down towards the wetland system. And I think we had a picture of that. There's actually some erosion that's currently taking place in that area. So it's just a single
Yep.
catch basin that's being provided.
Okay. Can you tell what caused the retaining wall failure? Was it water running over the top of the wall, or was it, can you tell?
I'm not a structural engineer, but just from observations, I think the erosion has contributed to failure of the wall, in addition to having the tree located above the actual wall itself. I think the tree root system itself, there's, like, as Michelle said, there's several trees along the top of that wall that have probably caused that also to fail at this location. So I think it's a combination of things, but I would say the erosion potentially contributed to it in addition to the existing trees that are there now along the top of the wall.
So what will you,
I would just,
go ahead.
oh, apologies. I would just add to that's my understanding, exactly what Dave said from our structural engineer, and that's part of why they designed the weep hole system in the new, the new wall to be repaired, to alleviate part of that problem, and so they don't have stormwater kind of bulging behind it. It runs through with the weep holes.
Sure. What will be done about the stumps? They'll want to resprout unless we take them out, but if you try to take them out, you're endangering the wall, I would think. So how do you propose to deal with the stumps?
My understanding is that the proposal is to cut them flush with the ground to grade, but yeah, I mean, you're right, they're red maple, so they're gonna stump sprout. But the proposal was to cut them flush with the ground and not stump and grind them.
Is that your understanding?
We may need to reconsider that.
Okay. Well, I think you have to do it that way. I don't think you can take them out, try to take them
I
out,
think you'll cause
or
damage to the...
we'll have more wall
potentially-
failure.
Yeah, potentially cause more wall issues.
If you cut the tree, it becomes a dead root system. The live root system is what caused the damage, the expansion. So it'd be a status quo for the root system.
No, I read in Farmer's Almanac that you can drill a hole and put Epsom salt in it, and that will kill the root stump. So I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to do that someday. I'll let you know if it works.
And I just pulled a picture of, that we did, when we were doing an inventory of the trees, so we could account for what had to come down since it's in the riverfront area. I did pull up the picture here, if you can see it okay, at least a few of the trees you can see that will have to come down.
We're not seeing the pictures you're putting up. We still
Not
are.
seeing the pictures, okay.
No, we're still looking at the plan on the screen.
Did it pop up now?
Nope.
No, it's just the plan.
Okay, interesting, okay.
The first time you did it, it did show up.
All right, let me try again there. Got a nice photo for you.
While you're doing that, how far is the riprap apron from the water's edge or the wetland edge? I can't tell from this line what I'm looking at here. Is it a wetland or a bank?
It is both. So the green is a bordering vegetated wetland, just a little pocket of BBW. And then this blue line represents, it's a coincident inland bank and mean annual high water line, so it represents both. So it is in the inner riparian zone. It is not being proposed in the wetland, but it is a distance of approximately 50 feet.
You said 50 feet?
Oh, sorry, no, the scale is different on this plan, apologies. I think it's more like 25 feet. 1 in 20, yeah, 1 in 20. About 25 to 30 feet to the edge of this, the riprap associated with the stormwater improvements.
Thank you.
Yes. Can draw a line here. So to the mean annual high water line and bank would be about 25, 30 feet.
That riprap is where all the stone is now,
The stone from the wall?
from the wall.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's about, I went and measured it, it's about 75 to 80 square feet of stone that came down. So by taking that stone and putting it back into the wall, you'll kind of remediate back to the original wetland area. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep. Is anybody, is that everything? Oh, you got pictures to show us.
Your pictures are up now.
Yeah, we can see
So
the,
yeah, I was just showing you, just confirming the trees that will need to come down, the red maples, and we do have measurements on those and an inventory of them included in the notice of intent.
okay. And the guardrail, did you tell us what type of guardrail it's going to be?
Yes, that is going to be, show some detail.
The middle.
Wood,
It's certainly just while I'm looking for the detail here, it's a modernized MassDOT approved type of guardrail, a TL-2 W-beam guardrail. It will be in accordance with MassDOT Highway Division standard specifications.
And, yeah, just, a typical metal guardrail to be, replacing that, which I just showed you, the concrete post and cable guardrail that's there now.
And what is the color of the guardrail?
Galvanized.
Galvanized, great.
Can it be brown? Because I've seen them brown in other projects.
I'll defer to Bob on that one.
I don't know, I haven't purchased brown guardrail, but
I think I have seen them used. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I see them in parks,
Right, exactly.
state parks.
oh yeah.
So it's white brown.
It's more natural in that setting.
Metal guardrail, found the detail finally.
Okay. Any, Brandon or Matt, do you have any thoughts on this proposal?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Okay.
This is a project within riverfront area, and they could not stay at least 100 feet away, but it's necessary for the work to happen within 100 feet. So this was filed as a riverfront area limited project, so I think it qualifies for that. As part of the disturbance, they're proposing to plant 12 mitigation trees off-site. So there's 6 trees to be felled, and there's really not room on site, and it's not even their property to begin with. So when you do redevelopment and you disturb the riverfront area, you have to do, when you do off-site mitigation, the mitigation has to be a ratio of 2 to 1. So they're proposing to replace 12 trees at the fire station at Cottage Street, which is next to what pond?
Fire pond.
Fire
Is it
pond.
yeah, that's right.
Right. So I'd say that as long as the trees are within the buffer zone of the pond, and the narrative says it's going to be put in an area that's already like lawn, I think that's adequate mitigation for what's being done. Otherwise, I think the project meets performance standards for the other wetland resource areas. And just as with North Street, my recommendations for special conditions, as I wait for Mr. Foran to catch up.
I'm good.
Okay. Is to include stormwater standard number 8, which is section 4.7 of the stormwater report as a condition, because it explains everything that needs to be explained, and also it references the stormwater pollution prevention plan, which is their guide for controlling erosion and sediment on site. And also to include section 4.8 of the stormwater report, which is stormwater standard number 9, operation and maintenance plan, which states how the stormwater BMPs will be taken care of long-term, and to make that an in perpetuity condition.
Thank you, Brandon. Is your thought to go to the left of the old fire station, or the right, or both? Do you really have a thought as to where
I don't
the
know that we
trees will
really
go?
picked the actual spot yet, but we
Right,
just know there's area there to.
The narrative relies a lot on me, that the conservation agent will
Okay.
have some authority to pick the species and the location of where they go.
Okay,
So if you want to put that in,
as a condition?
yeah, why not? If you don't, then
Area behind the building is.
you have a little less control.
Right.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Brandon. We were hoping to work with you on that to pick the kind of best location that might need a little restoration in the riverfront area.
No problem.
Jim, you have any thoughts or comments?
No, I think that sounds good.
Katie, how do you feel?
Good.
Good? All right. Mike, you good?
Yes.
Oh, you're not good. Oh, you are good. All right. Being that we don't have the DEP number, we cannot close the public hearing tonight, so we will have to continue this.
Yeah.
Haven't yet.
Go out to the public, I guess.
Any public comment? You're public.
Public.
Sure, you
Through
can
the
comment.
chair, just one comment on the metal guardrail. You had mentioned the color. We're trying to keep it galvanized, which is typical of all the guardrail that's in the town right now. In case of an accident, the highway department has replacement parts for the next day, and that guardrail can be repaired. If you have an off color, you might have a nice brown guardrail with a nice silver section where the accident occurred, or mishap. So that's just food for thought.
Good point. I wasn't thinking about that. I was going to ask if it could be one of those wood, like the 8x8 wood, but
Well,
I
that's
said,
what I was thinking of. You see those in a lot of the state parks.
exactly, yeah.
But that's more maintenance. They rot in 5 years, 10 years.
And they get beat up by the plows.
All right. I guess it'll have to be a shiny galvanized metal guardrail. I can live with that. Any public comment?
So one more. You can't close the public hearing, but you would pretty much have your order of conditions designated?
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we need in order to put it out,
Yeah.
so that the contractors know what they're bidding on.
I think we have everything we need to move right along as soon as the number gets in, and the order conditions can be drafted up by the time the next meeting comes around.
Thank you.
Just one thing, before, there is another culvert crossing further up on Depot Street. Is there nothing for that?
It's working in the existing roadway, replacing the existing pipe that's already there. So
No changes to the bank, no, you're just,
just working in the road.
In-kind repair and replacement.
okay. And will the road be repaved completely after this?
Yeah, we're going to reclaim the entire road.
All right.
Within the same footprint.
Correct.
It looked like there were some streets connecting to Depot Street that were going to be repaved a bit too, not completely, just
Right,
the
just
connection.
to get into the connection is like on Martin Road, probably into Pleasant a little bit.
It's just a transition piece.
Just to get it to connect, so that when we bring in the next, when we redo those, we're not getting back into a road we just repaved, so.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Conditions in the bid.
We should be able to.
Anyone want to make a motion to continue the public hearing? Till,
Sure, I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing to the next meeting of October 21st, 2024, for the Town of Douglas Water Sewer 59 Depot Street Row, Water Maintenance Improvement, map 169, lot 54.
can I get a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Jim and seconded by Mike to continue the public hearing to October 21st, 6:30 PM. All those in favor?
Jim Foran, aye.
Kate Thompson, I.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time this evening. Have a good night.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, at this time, I would like to open the public hearing for
What day was it continued to?
21st.
the 21st.
Thank you.
For Kyle and Crystal Genesee, 122 Walnut Street, single-family home, map 274, lot 7.2.
Do I have to do
I'm going to just read it. Haven't done that in a while.
Okay.
The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. 01516, pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on October 7th at 7 p.m. for a notice of intent filed by Kyle and Crystal Genesee, located at 122 Walnut Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, MGL 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves the replacement of an existing culvert, widening of an existing driveway, grading, and utilities. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass., or pursuant to the Governor's March 29, 2023, order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission at 508-476-4000. Meeting is now open.
Good evening, Karen Keegan from Allen Engineering for 122 Walnut Street. This is an existing piece of property on Walnut Street with an existing gravel driveway out to the back of the lot. We're proposing to replace the existing culvert there. The existing culvert consists of 4 Jersey barriers with a concrete slab on top of them. An order of conditions was issued in 2005 for this property, but they never did anything. They never built on it. They just put the culvert in, put the driveway in, and I believe there was a trailer on site for a few years. So the Genesees have bought the piece of property. They're looking to put a house at the top of this hill, which will be outside of your jurisdiction, will
notification
be outside the buffer,
was
but
published?
they want to replace the culvert that is there. The culvert right now is 3 foot high by about 4 foot wide. We're replacing it with a 30-foot culvert, 8 feet wide, 4 feet high, box culvert. We have some concrete walls that are for stabilization of the driveway and grading around. There are 2 of them. They're anywhere between 4 to 5 feet high. The driveway is an existing 8 to 9 foot gravel driveway that is drivable. You can drive over the culvert that is there now, but it should be replaced because it's, Jersey barriers and a slab. So the existing driveway is 8 to 9 foot wide. They're proposing a 12-foot wide driveway so that it can be plowed and passable for 1 to 2 cars at least. There is utilities off property that they would like to bring up. There are numerous telephone poles shown on this plan where they will be crossing the culvert and then go underground from there. There is an existing replication area from the previous notice of intent that is in this hatched area on the plan. It has filled in at this point. There are wetlands plants out there. We will have to be closing out the existing order of conditions that'll be at your next meeting to close out that existing order that is there now. We're proposing replications on both sides of that. We're proposing 1,225 square feet of replication. with the native species that I believe are out there, which are high bush blueberry, pepper bush, and sweet pepper bush, and a spice bush. And we got a couple of swamp maples and, swamp oaks and red maples to be planted up in that area too. Other than that, there is just grading along the driveway because we will be, trying to grade out the driveway that's already there, plus make it a little larger than what it is now. Does the commission have any questions?
So some calculations, how much wetland is being filled to, or
612 square feet of wetland.
and so that is being replaced with, what'd you say, 1,200 roughly square
Yeah,
feet
a
of
little more than
replication?
1,200 square feet, yeah.
And is the replication area to be established, is it currently wooded, or is it open field, or what is
Currently
it?
wooded.
It's currently wooded. So there are trees to be removed from that area?
Yes, there is.
And do you have a count of how many trees are
I do
being
not.
removed? Is that something that you can provide?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. And so what's there now, you said is an existing concrete slab with the
Jersey barriers,
Jersey barriers with something over the top?
yes, concrete slab over the top.
And that's 8 feet wide, and you're going to expand it to 12 feet wide?
I'm expanding it to 8 feet wide. It is now 4 feet wide.
Oh,
3 feet tall.
I meant the driveway. The
Oh.
driveway is 12 feet wide.
The driveway
You're
existing is 8 to
8.
9,
Yep,
and it will be 12 feet
and it
wide.
will be 12. Okay.
The area of disturbance for the proposed driveway will be within the tree line, except for where it comes over to the culvert area.
And so I see that the box culvert is open bottomed?
Open bottom, yes.
Retaining walls on both sides?
On both sides.
And how high is the retaining wall?
Anywhere between 12 to 5 feet.
12 feet.
To 5 feet, 12 to 5, 5.5 feet. No, I'm sorry.
The 12 feet.
4 feet to 5 feet tall.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's 12 feet tall.
No, it's not. It's 4 to 5 feet tall.
4 to 5 feet tall, okay. I was going to say, that's a big fill.
That's a big wall.
Brandon, have you had a look at this? Do you?
Yeah. I got a slideshow that I've been
Oh,
putting up while you're talking.
and I haven't even noticed, sorry.
That's okay. This is
Can you
the
run through it again?
Yeah, sure, I can stop it. Oh, hold on. Okay, here's the existing, dirt cart path leading to the back of the property where the house will eventually be constructed. And when I review these kinds of projects, when it's just a driveway or just a road, I always look at, well, what's the end point? Right? Yeah, are you even going to be able to do what you want to do beyond the crossing, like the whole purpose of the crossing? Or is it just a waste of everybody's time and unnecessary destruction of the environment? But the area where I'm guessing a house is going to be built, I checked it out, and it looks like there's plenty of upland that they could build it outside of jurisdiction. So I just want to point that out first.
Okay.
Okay, so here I am walking up the path, and now I'm at the crossing, which is right here. Okay. And looking off to the right, so this would be on the right, the right side of the driveway going in, which would be what, south, right? South side.
See the north arrow?
Here's our north arrow.
That would be the southeast side.
Yeah. Good question, though. Where's our north arrow?
No, I noticed that.
Up, top left.
Top left.
I think that's for the
That's for the locust.
Oh, you're right.
locust map. I don't see a north arrow for the plan.
It looks like you're going to be coming back with a tree count anyway.
The tree count anywhere.
Plus, there's no DP number.
Yeah, there is. They just got
Okay.
issued today.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yep. So this would be on the southeast side. We have a hemlock grove, which you don't see too many of anymore.
No?
So I would consider this to be a high-value wetland right here on the south side. North side is more stereotypical, which is the side right here. Here's the stream on the north side. So north side of the driveway, more stereotypical red maple swamp type wetland. And here is the culvert. I'm on the south side looking north. I'm sorry, I'm on the north side looking south. And then I'm on the south side looking north. That's what it looks like inside. It looks like, what, Jersey barriers with a slab of concrete on top. So I'm sure it did the job.
Yankee ingenuity there.
Yeah. More pictures of the interior of the wetland on the south side. This one shows the full measure of the trees. And this is the area of the proposed wetland replication. So I'm very close to the driveway, and I'm looking north into the proposed replication area. So this is what it looks like. And what I want to point out is we have some hemlock trees here. 1, 2, 3 that are alive, and then this one right here that is dead. And even though it's dead, it actually has as much, if not more, value than the live trees because it's great habitat for insects. Out in the middle of the woods, not a problem as opposed to right next to your house, because it provides a food source for the animals, and especially the birds, and it provides nesting habitat eventually for boring, birds that would bore into it, squirrels and things like that. So my request would be to try and save these, what I think are high-value trees, to try to work around the drip line of the root system. You don't have to work around the drip line of the dead one, because it doesn't really matter. But try to just attempt to preserve these 3 trees. If they live, great. If they die, then they just become a snag tree with wildlife habitat value, so no big loss. So that's what I think about it.
So if you work around them though, Brandon, you don't meet the grade of the wetland replication area, so would they need to expand the replication area in another area to make up for that lost ground?
Only if you want to. I've had this same conversation with the Corps of Engineers before, and they are not so concerned about it.
If you save those trees, Brandon, don't they kind of make too much cover for anything that wants to grow underneath them?
Not really.
No?
No, not in my opinion.
Because I think that's what happened with the replication area prior, is that they were trying to save a tree out there, and the tree that they saved didn't allow some of the plants that they had planted to take.
Perhaps, but I'm looking at it right now, it looks like it's grown in really good. So
Okay.
I'm not too worried about it.
Did you observe the plants that are in the replication area, the former replication area?
No, because it looks just like this. It's a jungle of native species, it's just a jungle.
Is that pepper bush that? I'm
Yeah, mostly
looking at
pepper
in that?
bush. There's some, in the upland area, there's some mountain laurel as well in the understory. It's good habitat. It's high-value area as far as forest is concerned.
Yeah, no, but, I mean, Jane's right. I mean, we're supposed to be creating wetland habitat, not just habitat. So we have to make sure that the plants that are there are going to be conducive to the
Right.
environment that they're in.
Yes, and the plants that they're proposing, the swamp white oak, is the only one that's really out of sync with the rest of the forest. They also propose red maple, high bush blueberry, sweet pepper bush, and spice bush. The red maple, high bush blueberry, and sweet pepper bush are all over this wetland. Spice bush,
Yes.
not so much, but they tend to do well. The only one I think that doesn't exist in this area at all is the swamp white oak. And I used to have the philosophy, well, why not add some diversity to, biodiversity? But often when we did that, they would die. And I came to the realization that the plants that are already growing in that area are growing there for a reason, and the other plants that aren't growing there are growing there for a reason. So when I look at or make an assessment of a potential wetland replication area, I like to look at what's growing in the wetland right next to it, and the plants they have, with the exception of the swamp white oak, are there.
So would you rather see another red maple or hemlock replace the,
I have not recommended hemlock in a long time because of the woolly adelgid,
right?
which is it's been a pest species that's a little bug that kills the hemlocks that we've been having a lot of trouble with, so I just haven't been proposing those.
I don't even know if you can still get them from nurseries. I think you can, but
I think you can, but if you want to do more like, say, red maple, I think that's fine, as opposed to like swamp white oak.
now, are there trees along the driveway that still need to be removed to expand the width of the driveway?
There may be a few.
So I would want those included in your count as well, please.
Yep.
And as I look at this plan, as you approach the house lot, it looks like the tree edge curves with the driveway. And so is that open ground up there, or is that being cleared?
That leads to the open ground at the top.
It's already previously cleared?
Yes. There are some, I guess, little white pines up there, but it's pretty much cleared up there.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts or questions? Any comments from the public regarding the plan? Okay. All right, so we would like to continue to have a look at the trees
Yep.
and how we might want to replace them, or, just what the order of magnitude is. So if you could get that to us, I would appreciate it.
Yep, for your next meeting.
Yep,
All right, make a motion.
sure.
All right, I'll make a motion for DEP 143-1113 to continue for our next meeting for October 21st, 2024 at 122 Walnut Street, single family map 274, lot 7.2.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mike Greco seconds. All those in favor of continuing the public hearing?
Jim Four and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye. All right, into old business. Number 3, we're going to continue the public meeting for 4 Birch Street.
Nope,
We are not going to.
no, it's the one under that.
Number 4, we're continuing.
The one that we didn't get a legal ad for, is that the one you're asking about?
Yep,
It was 210 West Street. Or, sorry, 206. The one where they didn't get their ad in time. Yeah, so that one didn't make our agenda, so that'll be on our next agenda.
okay.
206 West, sorry.
All right. I don't even see that on here.
Right, it was
That's
removed
not-
because they didn't get their ad in time.
All right. So aren't we going to number 3, which is 4 Birch Street?
Yep, 4 Birch.
Okay. All right. I'd like to open the public meeting for 4 Birch Street, map 159, lot 56, which is in response to an enforcement order. Mr. Warren Taft. Please come forward, please. Have a seat, please. Can you give us your name and address?
Warren Taft, 4 Birch Street.
Thank you,
Douglas,
Warren.
Mass.
So we would like to understand where you stand with your project, or not your project, with the work that you're doing. And I think that you received a letter from us about doing some work to stabilize the ground on the house side of the street. Did you receive that?
I did. The letter indicates that the board would like me to put some loam over the sand after the stairs toward the road, plant grass, and then I was going to put some straw over that to hope stabilize that until the grass gets growing and be able to stabilize that area down after the stairs toward the road, which I was going to start on tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you understand that this is an enforcement order and that, that as long as that ground remains, barren, then we run the risk of further erosion and
Any
sediment
runoff.
going into the
Yeah.
lake. So being that it's late in the season, but we still have a little bit of time to get some germination and coverage, that we would like to see some seed planted in that area and try to get some grass there to hold that soil in place over this
I believe I can
winter.
get that started tomorrow and the seed in and have it covered.
Yep.
And I think we can get some germination going.
Yeah, you should use an annual rye, which is
Yeah.
really quick germinating.
That's what I was, yep.
Might be other seed types as well that you can add to that mix, but I mean, it really definitely should include an annual rye or something
Fast
that's going to
growing,
be
yes.
fast-growing, quick germination.
Yes.
While we still have a little bit of time.
And I can get that hopefully all in tomorrow.
Okay. Where do we stand on this, Matt? I'm kind
Sure.
of lost a
So the
little bit.
request for determination was the construction of the steps, which are just outside the jurisdiction of the commission. However, it's down gradient, which would cause the erosion into the waterway in the first place. We talked about the area across the street previously, and I think this commission kind of took the position that if he were to restore it, he'd be doing more damage than was already done. So it asked him to leave that as is, right? So we were just looking for restoration here, I think.
At the bottom of the
Yes,
stairs.
right. I believe that's my understanding of this. The RDA is for the stairs and the restoration thereof, so the commission wanted to, they could vote to issue the RDA with the condition that he stabilizes the area that we just discussed.
Okay. Do the other commission members, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I'm fine with that.
Your letter is not in the file, just so you know. And I think it should be,
Oh,
when you emailed
Right.
him.
you know, we'll open that so that we can see it.
The process that you're going to use, are you going to loam the area before you seed it, or what were you planning in that regard?
Well, I want to make sure it's at least a level surface, that I was going to go pick up some screen loam tomorrow, get that all leveled out, Then I was going to seed it, rake it in, so it's covered over with a 1/4 inch or so. And then I was going to put the straw over that to help hopefully hold it in place until we can get some germination.
Okay. The straw may just blow around. That's the hard part there, is that it's not a very stable condition. Usually if they use straw, they crimp it in or they work it into the soil a little bit to
Okay.
keep it in place. You don't have water to be able to water
Well,
or hold it in place, so.
I was going to run, I got a couple 100-foot hoses that I was going to come down and put a sprinkler on it and see if we can get it, so we can get this germinating as quick as possible.
Now, Matt, do you know if along the road that he would need to do anything right along the edge of the road, like a hay bales or anything, to kind of keep it from running into the road if it does start to move?
I mean,
I don't want to make the situation worse.
I'm assuming he puts a loom in and it gets stabilization down pretty quickly. It may need some hay bales just to make sure that it germinates, and then those could be removed. But we could govern that under the enforcement order instead of this RDA.
Okay.
We did have some heavy rain today, and it seemed to, stabilize it. I didn't get any runoff across the road or anything.
Right.
I think the curb up ahead.
That helped probably 80% of all that water that comes down.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll,
Letter up on the screen. Let's see. This was the Recommendation Commission, meeting September 23rd, voted to request stabilize the area beneath the new stairs as it enters the street with a grass seed mix to complement the rest of the lawn in the area. Current collection of sand and light amount of grass susceptible to runoff in the public way and eventually into the res. We would like to see grass planted there in place of the sand to decrease the chance of runoff. Completed before October 15th. That's next week. Petition needs presence requested next meeting.
okay. All right, we'll leave it at that then. Thank you.
So what the commission wants for the RDA is for the stairs and the work there that was done. If the commission wants to issue the RDA for that, the condition that he stabilize the area, you can still govern the stabilization under the enforcement. So you get one thing off.
Does someone want to make a motion to issue a negative RDI determination?
Close the public hearing. Close the public hearing.
See if there's any comment first.
Any public comment on this? No public comment. I have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second, anyone?
Second.
Thank you, Kate. All right, motion's been made and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
So there are 3 RDA conditions.
Okay. So I will make a negative RDA 3 for a motion for the stairs at 4 Birch Street, map 159, lot 56. Anything else on that?
Yeah, with the condition we discussed.
With the condition that we discussed with stabilization, the area at the bottom of the stairs with the loom and seat in.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Motion's been made and seconded for a negative 3 RDA determination and with a condition that the ground below the stairs be loamed and seeded by October 14th. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
flag?
Yes, definitely. All right. So our number 4 item, the Betancourt, they've requested a continuance.
Do you want me to make a motion?
Yep.
All right, I will make a motion to continue until October 21st for DEP 143-1112 for Christopher Betancourt, 0 Perry Street, Fire Road, map 269, lot 1314.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue the public hearing for Christopher Betancourt, 0 Perry Street, all till October 21st, 6:30 PM. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye. All right, I would now like to open the public hearing for Anthony and Denise Brookhouse, 35 Wallace Street, single-family home, map 185, lot 10.
Good evening, Mark Allen with Allen Engineering.
Mark, you joined us tonight. Nice to see you.
I'm not a little square box. Tonight with me, I have Tony and Denise Brookhouse, owners of the property, 35 Wallace Street. We have Dave Aspinall and Pete Yablonsky in the audience. They're the eyes on the ground. They're the contractors who've been working on the property for a year plus. We also have Tom from Goddard Consulting on Zoom, who did the wetland flagging. You may recall at the last hearing, the opening of the hearing, we scheduled a site visit. And that site visit was attended, Brandon was there, and I think everybody in the room here was also in the site visit. And I think a lot of the questions that may have come up at the last hearing at least got answered, if not addressed. And Brandon, I believe, is going to go through his review. We had a nice back and forth with Brandon and the building inspector at the end of last week. And in preparation for tonight, I don't know if Jen or Brandon forwarded along, we also had a letter from the arborist. Tony and Denise had hired an arborist to walk the property and look at some of the dead and damaged trees. And if you don't have copies for you, I have them for you tonight, just to circulate. So with that, I think I'll give it to Brandon just to make sure you can touch on everything that you saw at the sidewalk.
Sure.
Matt was there too, right, Matt?
I think you can start with the easy thing. Right now, you're getting a letter from a licensed arborist talking about mostly a bunch of ash trees, but some white pines as well. The ash trees are dying or either dead, and they're within striking distance of a structure. So I think that their ability to take down the trees is valid. And they did show those on the plan. And they basically go around the perimeter of the limit of disturbance. Any questions about those?
Yeah, where are they? I mean, I'm not really sure where they are. Can you?
They're attached to the letter, the third page of the arborist letter outlines their approximate locations. They're numbered numerically, I think 1 through 31, description, numbered 1 through 31 on the plan. And they were flagged or tagged in the field, so I think Brandon didn't get pictures of them. They were very obvious to see.
So I see that it looks like most of them are within the limit of work,
The
but there's a few that are outside the limit of work. On the western side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So I see like numbers 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 are outside of the limit of work.
Correct.
So what's the proposal for those trees in terms of removal? Removing just the trees, cutting them, leaving the stumps?
Leaving the stumps. Yes.
like, for example, Mr. Chairman, in this picture, like this one right here is one of them. Yeah, here we go. This was meant to highlight some of the trees, like this one right here. I think at least one, if not both of these white pines, because the garage is being proposed right here. Here we go. Here's a good one. This one shows some dead ash trees here and here. So these are the kinds of trees that are proposed to be taken down. And I don't have any issue with that.
I mean, those you said were pines? I don't see pines on here.
The ash trees.
Okay. Go back to the picture that showed the,
Yeah, so ash right here.
yep, those are the ash.
Ash right here.
There's a picture before that where you,
Sure.
those.
Yeah, these two proposed to be taken down?
No, just the dead
Very
one.
good.
It's the other one in the front that is a big white pine that's split. It grew like this.
I don't know if I got a picture of that one.
Okey-doke.
Yeah, but anyway, all the trees that I saw were, yeah, either in the limit of disturbance already or very close to it and within striking distance of a structure that, you know, we get a letter from a certified arborist, so what are you going to do?
Exactly. What are you going to do?
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the easy part. And then the harder part,
Do you have any questions, Kate?
Yeah.
Jim?
Thank you.
No, okay, thanks.
the harder part is the boulder retaining wall that you brought up last time, Mr. Chairman, which is a picture of right here. Now, this is a loosely put together, kind of on the job, kind of, put together by the previous contractor, previous owner. That was not on the approved site plans from the 2021 order of conditions. It just appeared. Right, so, and the brick houses had nothing to do with that, but I couldn't ignore it. So the question is, let me step back. As part of this exercise, I decided to do a georeferencing exercise with GIS software. And what I did is come on, be helpful here. Here we go. So I'm going to go through this with you.
There's all the boulders there.
Well, it's
All piled up.
well, on this side, you come in from here,
Yep.
right? All this is gone right over here now. All these boulders, they might still be there, but they're well within the limit of work. What wasn't there before is this row right here,
Okay.
okay? All right, so, and excuse how slow this program is. It's big and it's lunky. So what I did is I took the site plans and I overlaid them using the property lines and wetland flags as control points. So this is the site plan from 2021. And the area that we're concerned about is right over here. This is where that boulder retaining wall is now. And then what I did is I then geo-referenced the 2024 plan to go along with it. And give it a second. Here we go. So if you notice the wetland lines, they line up perfectly. All the flags, they line up perfectly. So I'd say that they're one for one as far as comparison. As far as like the construction of everything goes, it's very close, if not right on, for the things that were proposed before, lining up with what's there now. Things that have been added include the sports court, and then we have this boulder retaining wall here. Let me take the 2021 plan off, and this is what you were talking about last time, Mr. Chairman, because it's very close to the 25-foot no-touch zone, which I have here in orange. And what I did is I just did a tracing exercise, okay? So first thing I did is let's put up in red 25-foot no-touch zone, and then the 50-foot no building zone here in yellow. And then from there, we can add the trace of the boulder retaining wall, which is right here. Let's put up the wetland line in green for good measure, and then let's just take away the site plan. And then you can have it's a little less busy, you can see a little bit better what's going on and where. So this thing right here is the boulder retaining wall. Wetland line, 25-foot no touch here in red, 50-foot no building zone here in yellow. And the approved limit of work, which hasn't changed from the 21 to 24, is here in this dashed orange. Okay, so what I found is that down here, in the southern portion, the boulder retaining wall slightly incurs into the 25-foot no-touch zone, but I will say that in this area here, the boulder retaining wall pretty much fades into nothing. The part that's much more well-established is this section right in here. In some places, according to my conversations with Ken Frazier, are over 10 feet high, I think, with footings. We'll get into that. Let's continue with this exercise. But you'll notice that this orange line is what was approved for disturbance in 2021. So there was grading proposed right down into here before. So let's bring up the 2021 plan. You can see the grading coming right into here. But as it was actually built, the boulder retaining wall is slightly outside of that. So I think that's worthy of note that they were able to actually keep the work a little bit further away from what it was originally proposed in 2021. It's just the fact that there's a wall there now, right? And then from this point going north, it lined up perfectly with the 21 plan. So a little bit too far over here, but there's not much wall to speak of. The area of the wall where the wall is much more well established, they actually kept it farther away. Now the big ticket item. The big ticket item is that the wall, does this wall qualify as a building under the bylaw regulations? And the bylaw regulations, I'll read it for the record one more time. I'll read it right from the definition. Building means anything requiring a building permit or other structure, including but not limited to retention or detention ponds, culverts, or wing walls. You know, I wouldn't call this a wing wall, but it is a wall, so I leave it to you to decide whether or not this qualifies as a building.
Read that again, please.
Building means anything requiring a building permit or other structure, including but not limited to retention or detention ponds, culverts, or wing walls. And with that, I want to read a email from Ken Frazier, the building commissioner here in Douglas, regarding, because I asked him to go look at it, because I said, Ken, is this a structure that would require a building permit? Because that's part of the definition for conservation's purposes. So he wrote an email. Let me bring that up for sharing. Okay. It was written to Tony Brookhouse, and I was CC'd, as well as Mark Allen. Hi, Tony. This email is in regards to the retaining walls that have been constructed at 35 Wallace Street that require an engineered set of stamped drawings, permits, and inspections due to the fact that the walls exceed 10 feet in height, and it also appears to have been constructed on unstable base of stacked stones at the highest point. Please be in touch with my office to let me know the course of action you'll be taking to remedy this situation. So that's part of what I think the commission should give the applicant an opportunity to speak about and defend themselves tonight. Otherwise, other portions of the project, all is well on the eastern front.
Did you look at the boathouse or the?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
That's
all right.
It's looking good, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the issues. I think as succinctly as I can.
Now, that's a great recap, and I think when Tony and Denise hired a local contractor, you know, the origin of that boulder wall, for those who weren't at the on-site meeting, was that they cleared, you know, the old foundation. It was a house that Tony and Denise were hoping to renovate, but it just was structurally unsound. So they had to demolish the house, which caused the delay, and all of the, you know, construction and the earthwork that was associated with getting rid of the old structure, they stacked up in that, along that row. So they didn't have our plan in front of them, so they would have known that would have been grading. But underneath that, underneath those boulders are more boulders. So what you see is sort of the face of the rock is probably double of that underneath the earth. So our proposal before you tonight is to, you know, although it may be deemed a structure in between 25 and the 50, we're hoping to, you know, leave the boulders as they are and apply for building permits through Ken Frazier's office for the retaining walls that exceed the 4 feet. And I think Tony and Denise and Pete and David have already engaged the structural engineering to be submitted to Ken's office, if it hasn't been already. I'll let Tony speak.
Right. Yeah, we, Dave, our site contractor, and Pete is our landscape architect. I mean, we're going to work with Ken. Dave already met with Ken Frazier today about a couple of options we can do. We can move the top row of all the boulders back and make it 4 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet, and it will never be considered a structural wall. The sport court, obviously, will have structural engineering for. It's a Wachusett cast. That doesn't fall into the jurisdiction of this commission that I think, but we will have the structural engineering for that, and Peter and Dave are working on getting all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the permits and inspections that Ken wants.
Yeah, so for reference, like Tony said, there's sort of two structures we're sort of talking about tonight. One of which was the I'll call it the old boulder wall, and then the second being the sport court. The sport court, concrete block, precast, fully engineered, that's going to be getting permitted through Ken's office. That is greater than 50 feet away from the wetlands. So I think what Brandon is talking about tonight is the section of the boulder wall that is between the 25 and the 50.
Unfortunately, in my opinion, I mean, it's going to cause more damage than good to tear it all back, but if that's what the town wants, that's what we'll do.
What were you proposing for that area between the pool and the wall?
Nothing.
It looks like a slope,
Yeah, it's just slope.
a pretty good
Yeah.
slope.
Yeah.
It was a 2-to-1 riprap slope.
So the way it sits now, if we were going to leave it the way it is, we were going to just plant like creeping junipers. Pete could speak to what he had planned there, but something like
I think
that.
part of the idea of that space,
Yeah.
You need to state your name and address and come forward if you're going to speak on this.
There's a spot right over there if you want it.
My name is Pete Yablonsky of Paradigm Landscape. I've been working with the Brookhouses on the landscape design of the project. That kind of triangular space that you're talking about, we felt that that was going to be a great opportunity to plant, meaning full-size, native plant material, clethra, chad, inkberry, that sort of thing. Something that kind of blends it cohesively with the existing border that's there and carrying that upslope. But that wasn't intended to be maintainable lawn or anything of that nature.
Okay.
We want less maintenance. More.
Well, when you started, Mr. Brookhouse, you were describing what I was going to suggest happen here would be to pull back the wall and create steps, if you will, of wall with plantings on those steps or whatever, native plantings. I mean, personally, there's a safety issue of the wall and somebody just stumbling over the wall that concerns me a little bit.
Mr. Chairman.
Just a second. And what you were talking about is, how that space between the pool and the wall is going to be treated is important to me and to us as a commission. So to have you say that's what you're going to do, I appreciate that, and that's what I want to hear. I think I need to see that. I need to know that that is what's going to happen. So I would like to have that landscape plan provided as part of this.
For this section that we're looking at right now?
But, yeah, for the area, that triangle area between the court
Sport
and the
court.
pool, the sport court, the pool, and the wall.
Does that help?
That's the sport court, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
And then that's the wall below it?
Correct.
Yeah.
so that's the section you're talking about, landscaping.
I'm more talking about, that's such a small area there, I'm more talking about the area to the left of the pool where the wall is 25 feet from the wetland edge.
All right, well, that's more in this area
Yeah.
right down here. Let's see, do I take another one? No, then I turn direction and I look the other way. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not understanding why I'm seeing a grading plan that I don't see a 2-to-1 slope. I see a 2-to-1 slope on the backside of the pool area going towards the trenches, but to the wall, it doesn't look like a 2-to-1 slope to me. Unless that's what's being created now.
The original plan back in 2020 had a 2-to-1 slope going from the 25-foot up to the back of the pool. This plan that you have in front of you incorporated keeping the wall in place and tying the 3-to-1 slope that goes around the back of the pool into that stone, into that boulder wall. So I think, I know what Mark's talking about now. The portion that's sort of closest to the 25-foot no disturb, that can be feathered back. And as we go closer to the lake, it actually drops
down.
in height. So it's going to be actually easier to pull those stones back and make sort of a more of a slope in that location. Probably more like a 3 or 4-to-1 slope in that location. What I think Brandon and Pete are talking about is more of that triangle in between the sport court wall and the boulder wall to do a sort of a tiered 3.5-foot walls.
kind of like a terrace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to speak to the chairman's concern, there's going to be fence around that sport court for basketballs and stuff like that, so you're not going to be falling, you're not going to get there unless you really, really tried to get there.
But I think we're kind of talking the same language. If we can pull this grade back by by keeping the wall less than 4 feet in height for the vast majority of it, and then where we can't keep it less than 4 feet in height, that's where we start the terrace as we get closer to the sports court. And that terrace planting is something that Pete and I can put together for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Terrace planting.
Yeah, that's my primary concern, is that area between the 25 and the 50, and, you know, trying to keep that as natural as we can.
Okay.
And in the meanwhile, we're going to be working with the building inspector's office to get the pre-engineered concrete block wall in front of him for review.
But we're under the impression that the building inspector, when we talked to him, he was very hesitant on doing anything else until you guys had this meeting, and we've had to put off the pool contractor, we had to put off the retaining wall footings. The footings are sitting open, which Dave and his crew did a great job. It's all compacted gravel, but I mean, the longer we keep that open, the worse it is, and he said he didn't want to do anything without hearing from you guys.
And the walls that Tony's are talking about are more interior to the site. Those are the ones that sort of surround the pool and bring the grading up around the back of the house.
Correct, they actually touch the house, so
Yeah,
they're not.
sort of out of the buffer zone.
Yep.
Those are the footings that have been shaped up to this point.
So you want to be able to pour the concrete
Correct,
for the pool?
yeah.
Which is all interior to the work we're talking about, where we're pulling.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not suggesting that the work on the pool should stop. I just want to see what's happening between the pool and the 25-foot buffer line. Where
We can get you that, right,
Well,
Pete?
So that plan's
I mean-
already in progress.
Okay.
So it wouldn't take much to apply a planting list to it and
Right.
get it over to you guys.
So, Mr. Chairman, the pool is within the 100-foot buffer zone, so I've told them to slow their roll, so to speak, on further construction until we had this conversation. And if you're okay, the commission's okay with them continuing the poll, which is already in progress, and we're near the end of the warmer season for really pouring concrete, I would be in support of allowing them to finish the pool up, because I don't think it's going to impact what needs to be done, you know, the remedy for the boulder retaining wall. Just as long as you can still get in there.
you can access it around the backside or some
Yeah,
other way,
correct.
right?
Okay. So.
I mean, you're going to
that's
have to
positive news
access
for you.
it to landscape it. You got to wait till it's over to do
It's,
that.
yeah, it's kind of the last step as we work our way
Sure.
out. However, I think some of that work could still progress while we're building the other pieces. We have access from the other side.
Okay. And the access would not be through within the 25-foot buffer zone, right?
No.
It's within your area of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
We approach everything from the right side to the left.
Yeah, there's no
Yep.
other way to do it.
That was the.
Can you get between the sport court and the pool to get in there?
Small equipment. That's why depending on how the boulder wall is
Right, how it's
tackled,
dismantled or changed, yeah.
we would do that probably in the near future with your feedback, and then,
Well, when you
know,
say small equipment, because some of those boulders are pretty big, pretty heavy.
Well, the
I'm saying that-
excavator's sitting, right now, it's sitting in the perfect spot. If we were going to do something, we'd do it now.
Yeah,
Dave's
that's the
equipment.
right size
Yeah.
piece of
Right.
equipment.
Yeah, so we would do that right away, and for long as you guys like the direction, we'll just do it. He'll do the planning, and then we'll be out of there and have it stabilized. Because we've got erosion control everywhere. And Mr. Chairman, you know, we've been here for 3 years, so we've replaced it twice in the 3 years.
Yeah. So is it possible to get a sketch in that quick amount of time to show how they're going to dismantle the wall and redo the wall, or is that okay?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think,
That's the answer.
You're under the gun.
yeah. I think for the building inspectors, as long as we can do it where it's 4 feet or less,
Yeah.
he's not going to care because it's 4 feet or less. We just have to do it in such a way that, I mean, we want this place to look mint too. So we just need to do it in such a way that Dave and his team can do it and you can make it look great. Because it's not like we're trying to create access. We're trying to keep it.
Yeah, I think we can get you a grading sketch and a planting plan pretty quickly within the next day or two, at the longest end of the week.
Okay. Any comments or thoughts, concerns, you guys?
You guys have a DEP file number?
I didn't see when I checked when I went outside.
I don't see it on our
Yeah,
sheet.
it's not on the sheet. I asked already today.
Yeah.
How does 122 Walnut got a DEP file number?
Don't ask, don't even try to figure
Favoritism.
out the rationale.
Weeks after we filed.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on up there. I don't.
I mean,
Do you have any thoughts on, or concerns?
No, I just know last time we talked about there might have been some concerns about the drainage, but I think we cleared that up last time, so I don't have anything else
Yes.
other than you mentioned safety, but as long as you guys aren't like climbing up the
No.
rock wall.
Yeah, just our concern in terms of the drainage, or my concern is probably just, just not to have point drains at the tops of slopes where they may erode, below the point drain. So there's quite a bit of impervious surface here, so just be careful with that.
We will. I mean, we've been very happy with Pete and Dave and his team, so.
All right. Any comments from public on the plan? No? Okay. Thanks for coming in. I think we'll have to continue because we don't have the DEP number. And we'll
Yes.
want to just see that landscape plan.
Yeah.
With a planting list, right, Mr. Chairman?
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
and then, they can go ahead and do the pool now, right?
I'm not opposed to them working on the pool and doing the
So
concrete.
that way you guys can
Great, thank
get
you.
that going then. Let me make a motion to continue.
That plan also include the terrace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Grading and planting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Make a motion to continue the hearing for Anthony and Denise Brookhouse at 35 Wallace Street, map 185, lot 10, to our next meeting, to be continued on October 21st.
Is there a second? Thank you, Kate. Second. All those in favor?
Jim Foreign,
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody want a cookie?
Sure. Oh, yes.
I think it's about time to have a cookie.
Yep. We already did for Birch Street, right? Enforcement?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, so
Just
that's what
one?
I put down.
I don't want to be greedy.
Since when?
Pass them around.
My Quaker upbringing.
Thank you, Kate.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Maybe I'll have to bring in some cookies next meeting.
Who? Kate? Needs to bring, you need to bring,
I'll bring in cookies next meeting.
Nestle Tool House.
No, better than Toll House.
No. Remember that episode of Friends?
So for Birch Street, we just talked to, so we don't have to
Yep.
get back into that. So,
Are we going to do Lakeshore?
looks
or-
like Lakeshore Drive is back in front of us.
Amazing,
Huh?
amazing.
We've missed you guys.
I bet you did.
Does anyone want to?
Yep, they're on Zoom.
All right. I'll finish my cookie first. Excellent, very good.
Yes.
C'est bon.
I'm going to want another one later, if there's any left. Boy. All right, well, last we talked about Lake Shore. Mr. Moran was in, and we talked about the boulders and whether they should be put back in the pond or not, and we, I believe, voted to go forward with replacing the boulders in the pond when the pond water is drawn down.
Right, through an amended enforcement order.
Through an amended enforcement order?
Yes, to make it more clear, which I have for your review tonight.
Oh, okay.
All right, would you like to see it?
I would love to see that. How'd you know?
Hunch. That's why they paid me the big bucks. You know, I anticipate this stuff.
Yep, that is.
Okay. Good, there we go. What is all this, what is that?
It says amended enforcement order.
Now that
WPA
blue
Form
thing,
9.
Yep. Amended 10-7, presuming that you're going to approve it tonight, that can be changed to Robert Moran Jr., 56 Lakeshore Drive, et cetera, to the extent and type of activity, I have a separate tab A that explains it, that the activity has been or is being conducted in an area subject to protection without approval from the issuing authority, which means that there was no permit. It was done without authorization to begin with. The order, I still have a restoration plan filed by 8/19, which they did. There's a site plan. But what I want to really get into is the tab A, and I'll read it out loud. And you can take it in and let me know what you all think. This amended enforcement order is issued by the Douglas Conservation Commission to amend and supersede the previously issued EO dated June 17, 2024, pertaining to the property located at 56 Lakeshore Drive, Douglas, Mass., identified as map 110, lot 39.2. This amendment is necessary to moot the prior EO and to clarify the specific requirements under both the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Douglas Wetlands Bylaw. The amended EO ensures proper compliance with both state and local regulations while addressing the particular conditions of the site. The purpose of this amended EO is to incorporate more precise guidance for the legal advancement of the restoration efforts on the site, specifically the replacement of boulders into Manchog Pond. This restoration shall be carried out as outlined in the OHI engineering narrative and plan dated August 19, 2024, which I can put up on the board after, which was revised September 6, 2024, and approved by the Commission on September 23, 2024, which are hereby incorporated into this order by reference. The OHI submission provides critical details regarding the methodology for conducting the necessary work, and all activities must adhere strictly to the specifications set forth in this narrative and plan. The boulder replacement and any related restorative activities shall commence following the next scheduled pond drawdown in the autumn of 2024 to ensure the work is performed in environmentally appropriate conditions. Additionally, the bank stabilization is not required under this amended EO. The rocks currently placed along the inland bank of Manchog Pond are to remain in their current location as per the Commission's plan approved by the Commission on September 23, 2024. The decision is based on the understanding that the rocks serve a stabilizing function for the bank and do not need to be removed or altered. Therefore, any contrary language in the prior EO regarding bank stabilization is expressly rescinded in this amendment. The amended EO reflects the specific conditions set forth by the Douglas Conservation Commission and provide clear direction for carrying out the necessary restoration work. All actions must comply with both the Douglas Wetlands Bylaw and the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, ensuring that activities are fully compliant with applicable legal and environmental standards. The Commission will monitor and will monitor the progress In compliance with the work to ensure the terms of this amended EO are strictly followed, which I would recommend your standard 2 growing seasons monitoring kind of situation. So basically, we have a plan where many of the boulders are going back, not all of the boulders, and the ones that are already on the bank, per the last discussion, can just stay there. They're good. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with what's already there and stable. That's what I got out of the last meeting. And what I should do now is I should probably bring up the OHI plan.
The one thing that I didn't see from that letter that I would maybe suggest be added would be that there should be a meeting with you and the Conservation Commission prior to the work starting, like 72 hours or whatever, 48 hours prior to work starting.
Oh, like a pre-construction meeting?
Like a pre-construction thing, so
Yep,
that
yep.
we can actually observe and see the boulders, and we know that they're going back, what's going back.
Right, and then probably a follow-up once the work is done. Yeah, and construction completion inspection. Sound reasonable? Okay, let me bring up the OHI plan and I guess give it to to Mr. Moran and his counsel for their end. Come on, help me out here. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to bring up the OHI plan.
Yep. Is Mr. Moran with us, or someone representing him?
Glenn Wood, counsel for the Morans. I'm on screen.
Okay, yep, I see you now. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
There we go.
Were you able to hear or read what Brandon just read?
Yes, it's I've been in contact with Brandon over the past days, including today, on the drafting of this, and we're fine with the language as presented presently. I do like the idea of a pre-activity meeting on site just to have clarity. So I think that comment from you, Mr. Chairman, is excellent, and I would agree it should be incorporated. The only comment I would have at the moment is that I don't see that there's a need for 2 years of monitoring because it's solely a placement of rock. It's a one-time event. So I don't think monitoring, it's not like we're doing a replication area or something and looking for 75%, success or something, so it's a one-time event. It's, we're in and out of there.
I'm okay with not having that, Mr. Chairman. Your thoughts? No? Yes?
He has a point.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, once you do the boulders, that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they're probably not going to move around.
No,
Probably.
there's nothing to monitor.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that.
Thank you.
All right.
Otherwise, we're perfectly fine with this, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your comment.
Yeah, and thanks very much to Brandon. He's worked really hard on this.
Oh, he's a hard worker. All right. So this is the plan that we're working under, Brandon?
Yes, it's the plan that's has a revision date of hello, come on. Where is it? It's down here.
Right above site plan.
Yeah, 9/6/24.
Number 2, number 2.
Yeah, number 2, which is right here. Oh, which is right there, 9/6/24.
So just to clarify, this plan addresses the enforcement order, which is the removal of the boulders and the stabilization of the bank, but it does not have anything to do with the entrance into the site and the erosion.
Well, it does show the entrance right here, and there has been in recent weeks an erosion event that has scoured out this area once again. It's like it's constant. Right. But I don't have an issue myself with what they're proposing to do here. But as the commission has talked about, why do this work right in here when Lakeshore Drive is still a concern with runoff? And that's, I guess, part B of the conversation. So first things first, though, I would recommend try to come to some kind of conclusion on the amended enforcement order before you move on to...
Yeah, yes, I just wanted to clarify what we were dealing with at this point, which was only the boulders and the stream bank and not what else is on this plan. Okay.
Mr. Chair, Glenn Wood again. The only other thing, as I presented 2 weeks ago, is that as part of the narrative, and I believe as suggested on the plan, we are proposing to bring in a small amount of material to level out the area that has, again, as Brandon's pointed out, in recent time been, eroded again, so that it's leveled enough for appropriate access with the, with the equipment that's coming in to move the rocks back into the pond.
You'll need to be more specific as to what you mean by leveling out and bringing in material, because that sets up red flags and for me when it's October 7th.
It's spelled out in our narrative when this was submitted with the attached plan in August, so you have that. And it's going to be incorporated into the amended OA. The proposal, or the suggestion is that the OHI report from August and this plan are going to be attached, physically attached to the amended OA.
Right.
So there's no confusion.
Any areas eroded by roadway runoff shall be loamed to a depth of 6 inches and shall be sown with turf grass seed mix. Reuse straw wattle to maintain until site is stabilized.
Yeah, well, I don't want to do that this late in the season.
Okay.
It's too late to start putting loose material down and seeding it when, we have all winter where we're going to have water and snow and rain, and it's all going to be running down the hill.
Well, I don't see an issue with that, Mr. Chairman. That can wait until the springtime, and that can be part of our pre-construction meeting.
Yep.
But the replacement of the boulders does have to take place over the wintertime, and the late fall and in the winter when the drawdowns happen.
I agree completely with
So
that.
I think that's all, unless Attorney Wood has an objection.
No, not at all.
I can add, Mr. Chairman, there's been significant runoff on the downslope here in order to get equipment in, so they have to bring in some material in order to get equipment down to do this.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, I'm not opposed to making improvements to be able to access, to be able to, as long as those areas are protected with erosion control barriers or other means, so.
All right. So, Mr. Chairman, up on the screen, you'll see a picture from today.
Wow.
Yeah, you see it, there's a little bit of gully right through the middle. I mean, they had repaired this I want to say a couple months ago.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and it looked great, and now look what it looks like again already.
Right, and so every time it moves.
No. Could I speak?
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll be able to speak, just a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that speaking is really to do with the roadway, and I know that not the applicant, but Mr. Moran and his counsel have a PowerPoint presentation they'd like to show regarding their side of what they want to say about the roadway.
Okay. Well, let's just be sure we're done on the pond and the boulders first. Is that whole proposal and the wording of the narrative okay with you guys?
I'm okay with all.
Right, and what I'll do is I'll add to that narrative in tab A that a pre-construction meeting is required with 72 hours notice ahead of time.
And then a follow-up.
And a follow-up, like what I would call a construction completion inspection by myself when work is complete.
And take out the 2 years.
And take it, well, we just
Oh.
won't, you just won't even add it.
All right,
Won't even be part of it.
okay.
Do you need a motion to that effect? That help?
Yeah. Yes, it would. Yeah, because you're amending the order, the enforcement order. So that's what I would make.
So moved for what we just talked about.
Okay.
Second?
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Greco, aye.
Mark Mongem. All right, so to continue this enforcement order number 2, is it, Matt?
Yeah.
Kind of thing?
Enforcement order A, I guess.
A. So did you have a PowerPoint presentation that you wanted to make?
Yes, we do have a brief PowerPoint presentation to show a few slides. Brandon, is that something you could run through and Scott could just speak to it?
Yeah, he can just tell me when to move the slide. Oh, you got it? You got it, Matt? Okay.
So this, just as a quick introduction, this is a quick deck slide that OHI, Scott at OHI, our engineer, in conjunction with our client, has put together in the past days that shows the continuing serious concerns we have relative to ongoing erosion from the upgradient subcatchment, which is significant. And from our initial legal research and in some discussion with Brandon in the past few days, we both feel that there's DEP jurisdiction here from an enforcement standpoint, and we're hoping to actually team, if possible, with Brandon and the Concom to see if we can have DEP come in, which I think would maybe get the best traction to trying to find a long-term fix for this situation, which was never addressed in the original planning board approval process for the development of these lots. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to Scott. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Scott Rolfe, OHI Engineering. Brandon, if you would please move to the next slide. This slide here is just a general overview of the area. Lakeshore Drive runs horizontally in the upper third of the picture from Northwest Main Street to down toward the end to Manchac Pond. On the top right-hand corner of this drawing, you see number 56 on Mr. Moran's lot. These are house numbers. 55 is Mr. Lewison's house. On the right of that, and 0 is Mr. Moran's lakefront lot.
How recent is that aerial photograph?
It's not recent. There's been a lot of clearing of the lots since this was taken. As a matter of fact, I looked today and there are not a lot of aerial mapping with Google Earth and whatnot that's updated to show the current clearing of the land.
Yeah, and just for clarity, I'll offer that this is an aerial image from 2019.
As Mr. Moran stated.
All right.
No, yeah.
That was Robert Moran speaking, sorry.
Address, Mr. Moran, just for the record.
Next slide, please.
Mr. Moran, what's your address for the record?
56 Lakeshore Drive, Douglas. I apologize, I'm in an emergency room right now, so.
Oh, sorry about that.
I'm going to remain on silent.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, this slide here is from September 2020. This is a plan that was done by Andrews Survey and Engineering This plan is what created the layout of Lakeshore Drive. And you'll see that, you'll see lots 1, 2, 3, and 4. This, aside from parcel A being the roadway, this is the plan that created the initial 4 lots that made up this parcel. Next slide, please. In November 22, Gerger and Halnan prepared this plan here, where they took the same 4 lots that were divided by Andrew Survey, and they created a total of 8 lots here, and with the addition of a piece of property over where lot A is, that bump out there was not part of the original development, but with the addition of that and then some of the existing strip that's down below that, the parcel was cut up into the 9 lots total. This slide here is just a rough estimate of the amount of clearing that has been done per each lot since 2020, a total of about 11 acres. Next slide. All right, taken in September 2020, this picture shows the entry to the Moran waterfront lot, looking down from Lakeshore Drive. The Hardwick buffer line is shown there approximately to the left. The line diagonally cutting across the middle of the picture separates Mr. Goodison's property to the left and Mr. Moran's property is parcel B to the right. Next slide. This is a view of the Moran waterfront lot from June 2023, looking downhill from Lakeshore. June 2023, looking down the slope over the Moran lot. Note the good condition of the access road coming down into the property. Again, June 2023, this is looking across the Moran waterfront lot. Obviously, it's stable and in very good condition. This is just last year. And July 10th, 2023, there was a significant rain event, silt and gravel laden stormwater. You can see it rounding the bend on Lakeshore Drive, and it's eroding the channel. This channel, the picket fence, post and rail fence on the right there, is the beginning of a parking area, approximately 2 vehicles wide on the Goodison property. And you can see where the water has created an erosive channel there through that parking area. And what you can't see on the left of the picture is some of the water is bypassing that, running down across the Moran property as well. This is again stormwater, same storm, water flowing from Lakeshore Drive across the Goodison parking area with a little bit of bypass flow entering the Moran waterfront lot. Same storm, intense stormwater flow from Goodison parking area. This is where that gully, that from 2 pictures ago, this is where it dumps out where the grade drops. And you'll notice there's a significant amount of flow there. These are comparative views of the Moran waterfront lot, showing how the property was in June 2023, and 2 months later in August. I'm sorry, well, 6 weeks later. The condition it's in there, you can see if you look at the picture on the right, you can see the water actually splashing up against the front of the dock by the first rail there. It's coming down so intense, and you can see the silt plume running out into the pond.
Can I say something?
No, can you please hold your comments until after he's done? Please.
This is same storm. This is toward the end of the rain event. You can see the flow is subsided somewhat, and the plume of silt coming into the pond is subsiding. This is the aftermath of the August 8th storm flow from the Goodison property. The trees, I believe, are on the edge of Mr. Goodison's property line. You can see the diagonal line cutting across the site in the middle. Up above at the top of the picture, you can see the post and rail fence where the Goodison parking area is, or a parking area. And to the right of that, you can see Mr. Moran's house up the hill. All right, on March 5th, this is shows the restorative work that was done to correct the erosion within the access strip to the pond, to the waterfront lot. This is the same restoration looking downslope, again toward the pond. That's Mr. Goodison's house over to the left. Again, same day the restoration work was done. This picture here, Mr. Goodison has restored and raised the our stone parking pad, which we'll see. You see it more apparent in the next picture. Here it is with the rain event. Now, because that was filled in, elevated, what that has done is forced the storm water to continue to flow, passing the raised bed to the Moran lot. So now all the water runs down the access way to Moran's waterfront lot. And there's additional damage to the lot by the, shows the additional damage to the, because of the bypassed flow. This is a condition of the eroded slope. This is approximately 3 weeks after it was repaired. May 2024, evidence of further erosion by the deflected storm water. And here, from its repair in March to the beginning of October, the entrance to the waterfront lot has been made impassable due to severe erosion and rutting. The picture on the left, if you look right in the middle there, you can see a 2-foot tall level, just to give you an idea of the scale of the erosion. It's very extremely, I don't have good knees anyway, and but even with a stick, I have trouble trying to get down there into the parcel. It's so uneven. And the last slide coming up here, this is a comparison of the lower half of the entry drive to the waterfront lot, both at the time it was restored and as it was on October 3rd of this year. So this is why I had told Mr. Moran he should hold off on doing any work to the entry of the property, because it's quite obvious that whatever he does here is going to continue to erode until such time that the flow coming down the street is addressed. That kind of concludes this PowerPoint.
Thanks, Scott. And so just a few points again, Glenn Wood. I also shared with Brandon today a little bit of research that our office did in terms of possible DEP jurisdiction, both as to whether the upgradient sites residential development, which is well over 10 acres right now, because these properties are completely denuded and open, triggers a stormwater pollution prevention plan, a SWIP plan, and a water quality cert under 401. It's our view that there are triggers here, and we're hoping that the commission, in conjunction with our client, or maybe even with the Concom taking the lead, reaches out to the DEP, to the Central Regional Office's Wetland Section Chief and their circuit rider. I see this as, I do a lot of SWIP enforcement for clients of mine. In fact, I've done a number of them with OHI, where we have clients that don't have SWIPs and needed them. And DEP takes these extremely seriously. And given that it's clear that the water body has been impacted and will definitively continue to be impacted as we get into more major rain events, and whether it's on our property or frankly on the Goodison property, both of those properties are being adversely affected because we're on the downstream recipients of a massive amount of uncontrolled stormwater from the residential developments and the clearing of land with little to no stormwater controls. And so we think that this is a serious DEP enforcement situation. We're hoping that we can get the commission working through Brandon to seek to have DEP to step in here and address this situation. And we also do feel that under the original enforcement order and under your jurisdiction under the Wetlands Protection Act and your home rule wetlands bylaw, because resource areas, in particular land under water body, has been adversely affected by upgradient work, even though it's outside of the buffer zone. The regulations say that if a resource area has been affected, you can take jurisdiction. And so it already has been. Our client paid to have the siltation plume removed, which wasn't his responsibility whatsoever. But we're going to be right back there again when we get big rain events. The Goodison work, as I said at the hearing 2 weeks ago, was a good faith effort in a non-engineered designed way to maybe manage some of the stormwater, but it's not going to whatsoever handle all of the stormwater and isn't presently handling all the stormwater that's coming down. So we would look to have the commission engage here with DEP presently in an enforcement situation against the upgrading property owners. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Would you like to speak, Mr. Cahill?
Dave Cahill, 14 Lakeshore Drive. I'm going to be really nice, but I just totally disagree with everything he said. Because when I had that property, and I sold that property, that ramp going down to the water, he disturbed. He created these big crevices, so the water doesn't even make that 90-degree corner. There's 8 12-inch pipes there, and it doesn't get past, what, the third one?
Yeah. Third one.
And there's 7 more after that. 12-inch pipes. And that road is like concrete. All that silt is his silt that he disturbed. I mean, the road's like concrete, so how can it take silt down? And the water doesn't reach the 90-degree corner.
Well, I think the road, from my viewpoint, the road was disturbed when we had the heavy rain in August of 2023.
But I had this as-built did, okay?
Right. I know. And you've done a lot of work since then. So
Yeah,
you have
there's 14
improved.
12-inch pipes in
So
the road.
you and Mr. Goodison have improved the situation and reduced the amount of flow. But there's
It's
obviously still a
impossible.
problem.
It's impossible because the road's like concrete.
There's obviously still a problem.
I know, because he disturbed all the soil going down there. When I sold him the property, it was all grass. There was never a problem. Never.
Right.
And nothing's coming off those
Right.
lots.
But
Nothing. He monitors it every minute. It's just a total lie. And that's the sad part about it. This all started out with a lie, saying 10 cubic yards came off my property. Not a dead leaf came off that property. That's how it all started. And I was just trying to blame me and the association so that he gets out of not paying for anything. You didn't tell about the trail, the dump trucks full of stones coming out of there either. That Mr. Moran has on TV.
we are aware of that.
Okay.
And we address that.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's irrelevant, but I'm just telling you. This shows you right here. And we monitor it all the time. Jimmy does. He works full-time down there. No water makes that 90-degree corner. And the road's like concrete, so how's the silt gonna get in the pond? It's his silt.
Well,
No, I'm just telling you honestly.
I know.
I mean, no one's gonna change my mind. You know, I've been down here for 40 years, you know? And there's never been a problem until we moved in.
right.
You know, just, it's been a constant nightmare, you know? And I just get blamed for everything. It's just mosquitoes, birds, whatever, you know, just, I'm just being upfront and honest with you.
Okay.
Mr. Goodison spent a fortune, and I don't care how many monsoons you get, those 12-inch pipes are gonna,
Yeah, I mean,
and the other thing, you gotta realize, if
I
you look
think
at this as-built,
everybody is saying,
There's-
I mean, Mr. Wood is saying, Mr. Moran is saying that the work that's been done on the road has improved the situation.
Yeah,
But it's
it doesn't
not,
even- it doesn't
it's
even
not
reach-
resolved or solved the situation, so we still,
but he hasn't
we
spent
still
a
have
dime
to-
down there. He hasn't spent one penny. And the water
Well,
that,
he removed-
those craters that he created with his four-wheelers, the water comes like this. It's just his water, because from the 90-degree, it goes 25 feet, and then there's a slight slope the other side. And it takes his silt down into the pond.
Well, I don't agree that his vehicle use has caused all the erosion that occurred, because I believe that the water that came down that slope
That
from
one
that
storm,
first heavy storm in August
And that-
started the process.
that happened in
And
1,000 places in
It
the state.
started the
you know.
process, and so it's
Right.
only gotten worse since then because of the soil being erodible and not established, so.
All those lots, no water comes off them. They did before, but they put all erosion, they did it all up. And not only that, those lots got their own stormwater drainage. You know, he's just trying to pass the buck to have someone pay for it, that's all he's doing, you know? And it's cruel and
Well, and
unfair.
as a Conservation Commission, we're just trying to
No, I
make
understand.
sure that the lake is.
It's all virgin
Did you wanna-
water that went down there.
Did you want to say something?
Yeah.
You have to state your name.
Kaya, Worcester, Mass. As you all know, I work for Mr. Goodison. Brandon and Matt have been there several times during the rain, as we all know. They see where the water goes. They know where the water goes. Goes in the culverts. Those culverts collect 95, 97% of that water off of that road. If Mr. Moran was willing to step up and solve the problem that he has with the water that comes out of his bottom driveway, that comes down the road, stays to the right of the road, goes around the corner, and builds up in front of his house. When it builds up in front of his house to a certain point, then it goes down the road where he has access to his dock. As far as him doing any work on that access road to his dock, he hasn't done one thing until the machine took the rocks out in March. And he made a smooth area so he could get up and down with the mini excavator to bring the rocks up to the dumpster. As of then, there hasn't been no work done on that landing going down to the lake. I believe he's left it deliberately to make it look worse and worse and worse as it erodes, obviously, and ends up at the bottom next to his dock. As far as taking any silt out of that lake when he had the machine in the lake, no. There was not one scoop taken out. It was swished, made look pretty. Other than that, that's about all I have to say for the records, that he just needs to kind of look at the whole picture and realize that most of the water is coming off his own property from the last driveway and in front of his house, because his house is on a hill, and it runs down and sits in the road. And when it gets high enough, the water goes down there. As we all know, water runs downhill. You know what I mean?
Yep, all right, thank you.
And I just want to say one more thing. In the ruts that he created, that's all loose material. So every time it rains, you know, the water gets on the hill and takes the silt down to the water. Because the road's like concrete. Might be a 5-gallon bucket of sand or something. But I mean, it's cruel and unfair what he's doing. It's totally pathetic.
All right, well, thanks.
And I have a lot more ammunition, you know, if you want to get into it.
No, we don't.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate listening, because I've had it up to here with this guy.
I can see that, I understand.
You know, he's a sick man. You know.
Yeah, well, I think we'd all like it to be resolved.
Well, Mr. Goodison, you know, that's like 5 times overkill.
Yep.
You know, 8 12-inch pipes.
12.
Was it just, huh?
12-inch.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, 12-inch pipe, and the water doesn't get past the third one, and there's still like 5 more after that.
So
you could, and last thing, when I sold the house.
Last thing you said was the last thing.
No, when I sold the house.
Yeah.
He should restore that the way it was, because it was like a 4-inch lip of grass, so the water would, you know.
Correct.
The water would just, you know, sit there and slowly dissipate, you know, on the grassy bank. And, you know, he went in and rode till.
That was all lawn. We had to buy the seed from you people, I believe, with special grass seed that we put in there. We had to mow it twice before Mr. Moran could have access to go down there.
No.
Part of the certificate of compliance application.
Yeah, plus they held back $10,000 when I sold the property until we mowed it twice, you know?
Right.
And it worked out mint.
I did a lot of work on that section for Mr. Moran. A lot of work.
Okay, I'm going to end the discussion so that we can talk about it a little bit. And
Mr. Chair, could I make a few comments on this? Glenn Wood?
yes, Mr. Wood, you may comment.
Very brief. First, my client's not pathetic. He's not a sick man. And I take offense on behalf of my client to those things because they're baseless. Secondly, my client's the only person that's spending money here on professionals. Prophesizing by lay people about engineering and legal issues are just baseless claims. The reality is that the property owners upgrading it have done work without necessary state/federal permits, so they're presently in violation. Whether you're supposedly addressing your stormwater on site or not, which we claim is a dubious claim at best, you're doing it illegally without a SWIP plan. And the property owners upgrading it are very likely going to be looking at DEP enforcement. That is not our problem. So let's be clear about science and law and not just baseless claims. Thank you.
Disagree, but.
All right, so where do we go from here? To resolve this, I think the Conservation Commission needs help because it's just going to be a back and forth between landowners forever.
So those, each lot has their own stormwater.
You're going to have to wait.
I'm sorry.
So, you know, it's kind of been thrown into our lap. It makes me upset that the planning board has, you know, approved the road, basically, and approved it to get lots put on it without any
contingencies,
request for review and engineering. But, so that's, so be it. We're at where we're at. And, but I think we need some help from here as to how to, where to, and if it's a SWIP permit, that is what we need to get help in terms of what is going to be required in terms of engineering and drainage improvements, and I think that's the direction we should be going.
Well, I did this plan. Oh, go ahead.
It's up to you.
Could I speak, Mr. Chairman?
Not right now, no.
So what's the question to me, Mr. Chairman?
Question to you is how do we go about that, if you can help?
So it sounds like the commission, or at least you, Mr. Chairman, would like for me to make that call to the the chief of the Wetlands and Waterways in Worcester, which would be Judy Schmitz, to see if DEP would be willing to intercede in this situation because of jurisdictional issues that the commission has not been able to find any resolution to. Maybe they would be more effective.
Well, that's my feeling. I mean, we're going, having meetings on this every single time we get together, and we're not resolving it at all. It's just keeps going back and forth. And so to really resolve it, I feel like we need help in that regard. And if that's how we get help, that's what I would like to do.
I can absolutely ask, and I'm not saying that's a bad idea because of the situation. Like, we've been going back and forth for over a year now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Right. And everyone's upset with one another, and
Right.
it's not healthy.
I just don't like.
Right. So we have, wetland jurisdictional issues, wetland impact issues, for potential 401 water quality certification issues, stormwater standard issues regarding, stormwater pollution prevention plan requirements, which I will say that I visited the site, and those lots on the south side of the road are being developed, and I think when you put them all together, the amount of soil disturbance absolutely exceeds more than an acre, so there's a very good chance that a SWIP is required. That's something that DEP could probably intercede on as well. And maybe they'll send out an administrative consent order, otherwise known as an ACO, that usually gets people's attention really fast. Maybe, but you got to make the call first.
Okay. I agree with that. Any thoughts?
No, I agree that we should probably make the call and go from there.
So I know the staff up in Worcester pretty well. Judy can be very difficult to get in touch with because she is the chief. She's extremely busy. I'll do what I can to work my way up to talking to her. And pretty much, put my arms out and say, please help.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is,
And I'll explain what the issues are and what the potential jurisdiction is, and then try to hand it off. Sound good?
Yes.
Sounds good. There was someone on Zoom that wanted to say something.
Yes.
Now is your chance.
Janice Cahill, 771 Northwest Main, Douglas. As far as the planning board goes with approving that road, there were a lot of things that have to be done to that road for it to be approved. The road had to be widened, which Mr. Cahill did. They had to cut down the height of a hill, or height of a corner, and it was all checked by the fire department, the police department, the highway department, planning board. Everything was done the way it should have been done. Nothing was done without anybody knowing anything. And as far as these stormwater drainage things, they've been done by engineers. They're not just laymen making up culverts somewhere. They've had engineers design them. And these new houses that are going up there all have stormwater management already taken care of. So the road had, before this, when this all happened, those lots weren't even cleared yet. So it's got nothing to do with those upper lots at all. And I have submitted video after video after video of being in the middle of a rainstorm, watching that water come up out of the ground in their backyard and flow right down the road, and then it go down to their second driveway. There's a pipe coming out of the ground from their driveway that absorbs the water that connects to that, and it shoots it right down the road. Their house is at the top of a major hill. The second it rains, all that water goes downhill and goes directly down their path because they've destroyed the grass and the way it was when we sold it to them. They held back $10,000 because they wanted to make sure that that grass came up and it was planted properly and they had been mowed twice. which happened, but then Mr. Moran continuously went up and down it with his ATV, made the ruts, and now the rest is history.
All right, thank you for your comments, especially regarding the planning board and the road. I was not aware that they had made some requirements there, so
Yes,
I
there were
appreciate
a lot of things that had to be done
hearing
on
that.
road.
Okay.
To be widened, we put in turnarounds for emergency vehicles. We set up, I can't think of the word I want to use.
Homeowners Association.
Homeowners Association?
No. I lost my train of thought. There's in Mr. Moran's driveway, it is considered a turnaround for the emergency vehicles. And there's another one in the middle of the road where they can turn around. And the road in certain sections is wide enough that if a big fire truck had to turn around in the middle of the road, it could.
There's plenty of areas.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman, Glenn Wood, I agree with you. The planning board dropped the ball completely. They didn't do any stormwater control. This is a Form A that should have been a definitive subdivision plan, and the road should have been improved, widened, and full stormwater should have been associated with the roadway. So the planning board sadly did not do its job here. Thank you.
But the road was done according to the planning board.
Yes.
Which they messed up.
Yes, we understand. Okay.
One last question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Brandon.
Jim. How do you spell your last name, Jim?
Lecuyer.
Lecuyer. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight.
For
Appreciate
the record, for all the people who were talking, you're the only person I don't know your full name yet.
I try to stay low profile.
So is that in the form of a motion to ask Brandon to reach out to DEP?
If it has to be a motion, yes.
All right, I will make a motion for Brandon to reach out to DEP and Judy Smites at the DEP, right? All right. For reasons discussed for Lakeshore Drive.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Kate seconds that. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mark Mungem,
Just one more thing, I gotta leave, but, is the DEP been notified about all these rocks they took out of the water? That's a state pond.
Yes.
Yeah, the DEP water, Chapter 91 licensing program was contacted.
And
We're moving ahead with dock licensing presently. Thank you.
Well done.
they are putting the boulders back in the pond.
Even the ones he all trucked out?
What's that?
Even the ones he trucked out?
We're done on that.
Not going that.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on.
Number 8.
Thank you.
Do we really need to talk about CRG and 123 Gilboa
No,
Street?
we do not.
Awesome.
No additional information on that. Certificate of compliance, number 9, DP number 143-1085, Jessica Bankston, 11 and 17 Potter Road, map 136, lot 8 and 9. Sorry to keep you so long,
You're a trooper, Jeff.
but you got a lot of entertainment value out of your meeting tonight.
We can offer you a cookie if you'd like.
I'm all set, thank you. Jessica Bankston, 11 and 17 Potter Road, Douglas.
Mr. Chairman, the missing piece of this puzzle was the as-built plan that's been provided. I looked at it, and I think it looks, it meets the requirements. So at this time, I would recommend issuing a partial certificate of compliance.
Can you bring that up on the, just so, has everybody seen it?
Oh, I can bring it up, yeah, no problem. Where are you? No. Bear with me a sec, I gotta go get it.
So this could be your road next.
Could be.
Yeah. Water coming down your road and into the pond, isn't it?
And the river.
And the river.
Yeah.
From the previous.
Exactly. Pardon?
From the previous number.
Oh, there it is. Sorry. So obviously, we just got this today. I didn't look at it. Are there any discrepancies that we should be concerned about or anything? It didn't sound like it from the
No, sir.
meeting last week.
Correct. Still have another year of, well, still need Glenn's year-end assessment for this year.
Yes.
And then again in the fall of 2025. But I think that for now, the actual construction part of it was very good. Here's the as-built. I think that part can be written off.
Okay. I'm in agreement completely. I thought it looked great. I thought the work was excellent, and appreciate moving forward with doing all that. So, someone want to make a motion to approve the partial certificate of compliance for DEP number 143-1085, Jessica Bankston?
Sure. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve a partial certificate of compliance with how long? Is it 2 years?
Yeah, there's 2 years of inspection.
2 years of inspection.
Which is the fall of '24 and the fall of '25.
Okay. With 2 years of inspections, fall of '24 and fall of '25. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Bonjam, aye.
Thank
You waited all that time for that.
Yep.
We should have moved her up.
It's okay.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night. You're welcome.
I'll be in touch with the growth plan. I've been in contact with Glenn about
All right.
it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. 2 more. Look at that, Kate. You got to vote tonight. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but isn't she standing? No? Really? That's it?
All right. Next up, item number 10, request for a certificate of compliance, DEP number 143-1099, Judy and Daniel Russell, 90 Island Road, map 159, lot 62. Do we have anything here?
First picture. Let me show you the area we're talking about here. This is the septic replacement, right here.
Wait, what? Can't see anything.
Up there.
Oh, there it is. Yep, septic is here. There's the spout right there. Both of the caps are here under these stones, which are really, it's a really nice touch. Lifted them up, showed me both of them, they're under here. Just keep showing that the grass grew in very nicely. Issues with this. Grew in exactly the way they planted it. Septic's built in accordance with the approved plan. The spout actually has a decorative feature right here. It's like a little cover. Pretty nice instead of the J-hook. It's good.
Oh, the one that looks like it's in a granite casing?
Yeah, there it is.
Or is that an actual granite? I don't know.
So, and there's also...
Really good, huh?
Which really, yeah. No, it just lifts right up. And there's also a well cap with a rock over it that hides it to look like another rock. That's pretty nice also. Otherwise, I'd recommend issuing...
Is that where they keep the key to the house?
I didn't ask for that. I'd recommend issuing a certificate of compliance for this.
No concerns?
I don't either.
All right, can I make a motion then,
I
sir?
will. I will make a motion to give the certificate of compliance for DP 143-1099 to Judy and Daniel Russell at 90 Island Road, map 159, lot 62.
Motion's been made and seconded by Mike Greco. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem,
Last one.
Okay, 11, request for certificate of compliance, DEP number 143-0572, Timothy Nealon, Old Farm Road, Woodland Road, map 237, lots 5 to 27, and map 238, lots 24 to 41.
Who's this one for?
This is a big deal. This is a section of street?
This is, any council's on Zoom if you'd like him to talk through it.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Jack Nealon, Deer Crossing Development, 85 Main Street, Hopkinton.
Sign that.
So this submission is a result of a spring meeting we had where we were trying to put up an NOI for the second wetlands crossing. And we were trying to shrink the size of the culvert, and the board considered that a substantial change, the commission. And then we are looking now to close out this DEP number so we can open a new DEP number for the second wetland crossing. This section of roadway was taken by the town of Douglas 2 years ago. And this Old Farm Road was completed 2009. And then the Woodland Road has just been completed up until that point, probably 2023. So we need to close this and we need to close this DEP number in order to open a new DEP number to address the second crossing.
Okey-doke. So was this done over several NOIs, or was it a single NOI?
This is just this single NOI for the roadway, the retaining walls, the replication areas, and then one wetland crossing. It's about midway down Woodland Road.
Okay.
How far back does this go?
You said 2008 was when it was,
Old Farm Road is also under this filing. There's a section of Old Farm Road where it intersects Woodland Road. I believe those homes were built between 2005 and 2008, and then Woodland Road was, that's when the work began on Woodland Road, which was just completed up until that station.
okay. So the plans that we are looking at are what is constructed. They're an as-built plan. And
Correct.
just show the, yeah. It does, they don't, there's nothing on these plans that show what was proposed, correct?
No, these are the as-built for the subdivision.
So when stuff is that old and you can't see, you don't have the,
It makes it really tough.
I mean,
Yeah, the original is really what I need, yeah, the original approved. So I can see where the replication areas are, so I can go out and try to find them.
Right. So part of the issue here is we just got this right when we had to post the agenda. I tried doing some fishing to see old correspondence from our previous agent or our previous town engineer, and I can't find anything. So I asked Mr. Nealon if he could produce anything, but here we are at the meeting. But what I could do, and usually I've been reviewing COCs, but this one's a little out of my wheelhouse because it's got replication areas. So I asked Brandon to take a look, to produce a work program for them to review.
Yeah.
But it takes a little time because we just got this at the end of the week. So I wanted to at least get this on the agenda for discussion, see if the commission had any questions, concerns.
Yeah.
And hopefully have this at least ironed out by your next meeting.
Mr. Chairman, so in this week's agenda that gets sent around that has the links,
Yes.
this particular one didn't have any links, at least not yet. Is there any, like, materials that have been produced by the applicant that can be shared? Thank you, Mike.
Oh, did I go to you? Sorry.
It's okay.
You're skipping it.
We're good. So if I could have, whatever the applicant has produced to help me, this plan right here is very helpful.
Can you hear everything, Mr. Nealon?
I absolutely can.
Okay,
Yep.
good. All right.
Yeah, so the replication areas, all the walls, all of those were measured when the town took the road. So I remember walking the road with Tim Nealon, the town engineer at the time, and Steve Ziss. And we were in the wetlands, we were in the ponds. So I would encourage to see if there's anything in the file from when the town took over these basins and and replication areas, if they approved them before they did so.
Yeah, the town approved this as a road, right? They've taken it as a road.
it's a public way.
It's a public road now.
All right, and this plan that I have, Mr. Chairman, is from 2003. Oof.
And we don't even know if is that the approved plan?
I don't even know.
Right, exactly.
So I would like to have the original, the final order of conditions that I can then see what is the final revision date on the plan, so I can compare, make sure I get the right one, and then any of the new materials that request for certificate of compliance, any as-built that were created, that would all be very helpful.
Do you have the order of conditions?
Yeah, it's
original?
recorded. I could do. It's on the registry.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Send it over to Matt.
Has an as-built plan been created for this?
Yeah, it was noted to be accepted at town meeting. But it doesn't have the replication areas stuff on it.
Well, that's kind of important.
Well, this
Conservation
does.
Commissions,
This is their new one.
anyway.
This is the new one.
Right.
The as-built produced is just for conservation. The planning board, what the Board of Selectmen accepted with the road, that was the roadway. These are the crossings, the walls.
So far, I see 2 replication areas. Are there more? Oh, yeah, replication area 3. So there's 3 different replication areas.
The third one hasn't been built yet, so it's just up until where Woodland Road and Old Farm.
Okay, so well, if it hasn't been built, was it supposed to be built?
No, that part of the road hasn't been built, right?
Trying to build the rest of it, but we've been told we need to get another DEP number to do the second crossing. So that's why we're doing this. We're doing this partial sign off on this DEP to open up the rest of the road. Which
So was that,
looking forward to.
I'm just trying to get caught up. I apologize. Because Steve Zisk ran this department for so many years, and he probably already knows this by the back of his hand, but I don't. So the replication areas that were constructed, what were they for? What area was filled in, or what area was filled in to require them?
At the crossing, about midway down. Sorry, I'm on my laptop. I don't have a full screen in front of me. But on the one crossing that has been built, the first number 1 wetland crossing, in order to create that crossing, they had to replicate. So to the right side of that the north side of that crossing is replication.
Yeah, looks like Station 36
Let me try to get a plan page.
or 37, 36 and a half to 37 on Old Farm Road.
On Old Farm Road.
I see replication area number 1 for that crossing.
Correct, yep, so that would be an accurate replication area rendering.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
I think these were planted in 2013, I was in high school.
Why do I feel old now?
2003. So what is that? Stack of
Yeah. I mean, that's the only one I see. I see another crossing, but I don't see it called out as a replication area.
May I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
You may.
Jack, are we dealing with DEP file number 143-572?
Correct.
All right, this is issued 2003, so this is 21 years.
Nice.
Done older than that.
I don't think they're ready to get a certificate of compliance yet. It's not old enough. So, I mean, this road has already been accepted. It's in place. I think we just need to do a,
Trust but verify.
Verify the verification area.
that's all. I don't think you want to go
That's
into a
fine.
lot of
Yeah.
hoops and hurdles.
So,
But I think we need to do our diligence a little bit, but not go overboard with this.
so have Brandon do the replication thing, right?
Right, what I got
Go out and
first,
review.
I have to give him a work schedule, work program schedule, because I can't do this.
Proposal.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Should we table this, or what do you do?
Continue it to the next meeting, and then I think with good chance we can close it out.
Okay.
So, yeah, Jack, we're going to need to continue this to our next meeting. Brandon's going to give you a proposal for his efforts just to kind of clarify things so that we can
Oh, yeah. Is that back?
accurately give a certificate of compliance.
Okay, and is there a chance there's a record of Steve Zisk doing this? Because I remember him out there at the tape measure, measuring trees and checking the plan.
It's,
I just don't want to duplicate the efforts.
any record of his work is long gone.
Okay.
We are-
Check our records to see if we have any field notes from him or anything. See if we can find anything.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Unfortunately, that's, seems to be missing. Wait,
Has anyone, on your end, Mr. Nealon, done inspection of the replication areas or shown, done a report saying that they meet the performance standards in 310 CMR 10?
I'm gonna have to look. I want to say Echo Tech did at some point. I mean, that's why I'm gonna have to look back at the records. I remember vividly talking with Steve Zisk.
Okay.
So let me see if they did an inspection of an as-built. I mean, they've been in for so long. The plans have been done.
Yeah, I know, and I don't feel like I should have to apologize, but I apologize because I don't know anything about this, and Steve stated, but
That's all
he's
right.
gone.
That's why. Let me go back into our files. I think I'll be able to send some information along that might save some time.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Jack, I've got some records on our server. If you want to make some time to come meet with me and go over this stuff, maybe we can find what you're looking for.
Yeah, I just remember doing some of the field walks, and I know that Bill was taking pictures and Steve was taking photos, so I know something was done. To what extent, I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
And Brandon, I'm happy to meet you there anytime as well to walk through the replication.
Thank you. It might be easier that way.
All right. I'll make a motion to oh, never mind. All set.
It's not a hearing, so it's just tabled to the next meeting.
All right, table till the next meeting, I guess. Mr. Chair, I have a question.
You'll be all set for now, Jack.
who is Mr.
Thank you very
Chair?
much.
You. I'd like to know if we have any funds that Mr. Benoit was supposed to find out for us.
No, we don't. He said, no, we don't.
Are you serious?
We have to put an article on for town meeting to request for signs.
Oh,
We need to get a budget for it, we'll probably do that in the spring.
okay. I was just curious. Did you,
All right, my agenda ends at 11, so does that mean we're done?
I have minutes.
did you want him, did
Oh,
you
right.
finish the minutes?
I did.
What about,
Oh, he finished them. Then we can just go and be done.
So, there's two things. So we got minutes. On item 3, third sentence down, says Mr. Corcoran stated the partial should be is instead of if. And the next sentence, right under that, it says, and for the paving is to be done. Should be is right there, so there's two ises. A comma after completed. And then on page 3, second sentence, will have the plan, cross out to, and sent prior to next meeting. Plan revised and sent prior to next meeting. And then.
Wait, where are you?
Page 3.
Second line. It says will have plan revised, cross out to, plan revised and sent prior to next meeting. And then on that same page, third line from the bottom, says through the adject lot. I think that should be the adjacent lot. That's all I have.
Sounds good.
All right, so the meeting minutes have been reviewed and amended by Mr. Benoit. Want to make a motion to approve them as amended?
Do we have to? Oh. So moved.
second? Second.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the July 15th meeting minutes. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungemai.
Chairman,
So what are we up to now? Which minutes were those?
July 15th.
Oh, getting close.
so they're also going back. There's still some.
Oh, there's still some?
Yeah.
We're improving slowly.
Still one item on our agenda, mail from letter from the open space. They're looking for our support for the Community Preservation Act item. If anyone needs a refresher on what that is, I'd be happy to provide it.
I don't need a refresher.
I don't need a refresher.
Okay, does the commission want to offer a letter of support to for the Community Preservation Act to Sue Perkins, Chair of the Douglas Open Space Committee?
I would vote in favor of a letter of support, yes.
Is that in the form of a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Does my vote count today?
It does.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, it does.
Sure.
Okay, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to offer a letter of support for the Community Preservation Act. All those in favor?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungemai.
Good for me to make a motion. Make a motion to close, to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Jim Farr and I.
Kate Thompson, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungemai.